Mark, what's the difference between a granny fetish and necrophilia?
I knew you was going to be really bad this week on this episode. I don't even know if I want to ask your response for this.
Do you want to have a guess, or you just want me to tell you?
I don't feel like I have an option anyway, so go on, you tell me.
It's only a couple of weeks.
Oh. Dude.
Before I forget,
I'll kill you if this is a joke.
you want to die tonight?
The You Run Podcast.
The You Run Podcast.
The You Run Podcast. The You Run Podcast.
Why isn't it possible?
I can't say nothing. Or Candyman'll get me.
You choose the movies.
I had a heart-on this morning when I woke up, Tina. Had your name written all over it.
You score them.
Nice fucking model!
You review them.
For that you get the head, the tail, the whole damn thing.
Why not, you stupid bastard?
My name is very fucking confused. What's your name?
Captain Howdy?
You don't want to go fooling around other folks' property.
In my goddamn soul. Where's a beer?
Because after all, this is not our show. This is your show.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good whatever time it is you're listening to this show, or whatever day this is, week, year. If you're listening,
I think you covered them all with good morning, good afternoon, and good evening.
Yeah, good night. If you're listening in 2027, hello, welcome to the past. My name is Scott.
And my name is Mark.
And this is the You Run Podcast Horror Movie Review, part of the You Run Podcast Network and yourunpodcast.com. We're a weekly interactive horror movie review show covering movies selected by you or in our polls or a listener request like this week. To get involved in the show, all you need to do is follow us on social media at You Run Podcast on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Thread, Slasher app, X, YouTube. If you just want to follow Mark, you can do that. He's Reviews from the Crypt on Instagram and Slasher, and VHS from the Crypt on Instagram and TikTok. You can also email us, yourunpodcast@gmail.com, or record us a voicemail on any social media that will allow you to send an audio DM. We need to pre-record that because, like, every week I say it, and every week it's the same.
I was thinking to myself, I was like, why have we not pre-recorded that?
I have no idea. You can also leave us a review on Apple or Spotify, and that really, really helps. So please do that. It really does help. Today's episode is a great one. We've stopped news, so we're going to kind of rock straight in. But what I'm going to do first is catch Mark completely off guard because, yeah, I like doing that.
Why? What have you done?
Recommend account of the week.
I forgot my own music then for a second.
Yeah, this is your theme tune.
I thought, am I playing a quiz this early on in the game? Surely not.
Oh, that would have been... I should have just, broken spirit. Welcome to the episode.
That's what I thought. I thought, due to my rage last week, I was like, oh, no, please don't make this a thing again.
We got so many messages about your rage and about Angel just not taking any shit and biting back. So many.
Brutal. I'm still not over that episode.
No, and she absolutely trounced me on YouTube as well. So if you want to see me get annihilated like Mark, I took it better than you, slightly.
Yeah, I can imagine you would have done. I don't have a great track record of dealing well with defeat in quizzes.
No, see, I lost, and my response was kind of like, no, okay, right, let's do something else, and like moved the episode along immediately. Didn't dwell on it, whereas you, I needed to give you time to digest it, and then even your roundup, you're like, yeah, it was Dracula, it was great. Ugh.
We're a week later and I'm still not over it, so come on, let's not talk about that tonight.
Okay.
So this week's recommended account of the week is an account that I have previously recommended already. However, they have upgraded themselves and they are now releasing a podcast on a weekly basis for you all to enjoy. This is The Girl and the Gay Podcast, who you may also know from Instagram. They have their own individual accounts, Lumberjay Reviews and Beck is This Girl Loves Horror. They have combined themselves. They are now working together to do weekly lives on Instagram, and they are now coming out with a podcast.
Yes.
This is something I'm very excited about personally, because for me, I always find the lives quite difficult. As much as I want to try and support them and watch their lives, they come on a Thursday at 7:00. My wife works Thursday evenings, and that's usually the time that I put my daughter to bed. So I always struggle to try and catch on to the live as much as I want to. So if you notice I've not been there recently, that's why. It's because it's always bedtime when I'm putting my daughter to bed. But now I have a podcast, which is at my convenience, and I can listen to that whenever I want, whether that be at work or at home or when I'm driving in my car. So this formula is going to be much more suited to me. And for those of you who have already listened to their lives or follow their Instagram's account and such, this formula might also work for you as well. And you may not be aware that they're doing this, but they do have a podcast now, which is coming out on a Tuesday, I believe.
Yes, it's coming out on a Tuesday. And if you want to get an idea for what Jay's like and what Beck's like, they've both been on this show. So Jay come on and done Killer Condom, and Beck come on and done Ready or Not. So they
How do you remember all of this stuff?
It's written down in my notes because I kind of knew that's where you were going this week.
Am I that predictable?
Yeah, so like I have like a basic note of like what comes next. I've got recommended account, and I read The Girl and the Gay, and then I put the episodes that they were on.
Oh, brilliant.
I listened this week. First episode of a podcast does not normally hit this level of quality. Go and listen to my very first episode, then listen to Beck and Jay, and they're like at like season 4 level when we were still doing seasons. They are leaps and bounds ahead of what you would expect from a brand new podcast. They've got really good takes on horror. They're dropping trailers in their episode, and I'm like, wow.
Yes, yeah, I would expect nothing less from the pair of them. They are both very seasoned horror veterans and have very insightful opinions, both of them. So please go and show them some support, guys. Currently, they're only on Spotify at the moment. I imagine they will be branching out to other platforms in the near future. But again, their first episode only came out last week. If you want to jump in now, now's the perfect time to do so. Their second episode will be out the day after this episode today.
Yeah.
So tomorrow their second episode will drop. I'm not too sure what it is they're doing this week. Do you know?
No, I don't. I don't. I like leaving what episode's going to be as a surprise.
Yeah, it's good that way. But so anyway, tomorrow will be their second episode. So if you're listening today and you've just finished listening to this episode now, you can go check out their first episode in preparation for their second episode, which will drop tomorrow. And that is only available on Spotify at the moment, but you can find their accounts on pretty much every single social out there. So they are The Girl and the Gay. What's their Instagram handle? Is it just The Girl and the Gay? It's not
The Girl and the Gay podcast. It's The Girl and the Gay podcast.
Oh, right, yeah, so there you go, perfect. You can find them on Instagram, and then if you go to that account, I'm sure they will have links for their both individual accounts on Instagram as well. Please show them support. They're fantastic guys, fantastic guests for us previously on the show. And yeah, let's all just stick together and support each other.
Yeah, and remember, if you do go and listen to them on Spotify, give them a 5-star review, because that really, really, really does help, especially for a new show. And they're great as well, so go and give them some support. Fabulous.
And they will probably be part of the You Run Podcast network in the near future.
Well, we'll see what happens. They may have had a little bit of assistance getting off the ground and getting to a certain level from the start.
I know you've been heavily involved in helping them get set up and get running. So
yeah, it's hard. And like when I started, I had people who helped me. So like I've said before, like Horror Movie Talk helped me, and there are other people around who were like, you need to do this, and this is how you do that. And I've always been one that I want to do that for other people as well, because it's difficult. If you've never done this before, getting set up and working out where to do it and how you stream it and how you get how do you get a trailer on there? How do you do this? It's all really difficult stuff. And like, if anyone needs help with that, just drop me a message and I'll always help people.
I think that's fair, though, because the thing is, it's such a daunting prospect to take on such a challenge like creating your own podcast. I have no involvement in any side of that, and I wouldn't even know where to begin. So as much as I enjoy doing this show and being a part of the You Run podcast and bringing out episodes to you guys each week, I literally just turn up and press record on a mic, and Scott takes care of everything else from that point on. So without that assistance from Scott, I would not be doing this show. So I'm literally here just on the tailcoats of Scott's effort.
No,
but the thing is, it's
nice of you to say.
That is very much how it is.
Yeah.
But yeah, so like if you guys do struggle and you're thinking of doing it, then reach out to Scott. He'll be more than happy to help you. And I think the thing is as well, there's so many people out there who do have such great insights to horror and unique takes that want to reach out and try and do things like this, but then probably it's quite daunting to think about. I mean, I get quite daunted just by the fact that all I do is run an Instagram account.
Yeah.
Having to do all the editing side of things and programming and recording and then presetting what time it's released and where it's released, I wouldn't have the patience to deal with that kind of stuff.
No, which is why I do it.
Yes, but Scott's here and he would be more than willing to help you if it's an avenue you want to go down.
Yeah,
so please reach out.
Yeah, I've just now become I'm podcast assistant now.
Well, depending on how busy you get, this
like
may be a chargeable fee in the future.
Like technical help.
Yeah.
I need to set up an account that's podcast technical services and people just message me there.
Hey, there's a business venture everywhere, my friend.
There is. This week we're covering a listener request. To get a movie on the show, or your best way of getting a movie on the show as a straight request, is to send us a voicemail, which is what this listener done. This is Pro Physical Media, and they give us they kind of gave us the bum deal. They gave us a choice of two movies. They gave us a choice of a Serbian film or today's movie. And we took the less horrendous of the two.
Yeah. The thing is as well, that I kind of want to do a Serbian film on the show. Not for any other reason other than the fact that I will never, ever watch that film again unless I have to.
Yeah, and I will never watch it again. It was... Yeah, we're not talking about that today. It'll depress me and annoy me. And I'm already not in the best of moods because I'm still suffering with a bit of a cold and a cough, and I keep muting myself. And this movie done nothing to make my mood better.
I don't understand how you can still be ill. I get ill for like 24 hours and I'm usually okay again. You seem to get ill for like 3 weeks at a time.
Yeah, it's not good. This is a zombie movie with a real twist. It's extreme. It's grotesque. It covers some real difficult subjects, including sexual assault and rape. It's very rare we give like a trigger warning, but there are some subjects in this movie that may trigger you. Listener discretion is advised. Today we are covering 2008's Dead Girl.
If you close your eyes, can you make out the sky? Is there a sky?
What are you staring at?
Rick, you gotta get over that, man. You lost Joanne to puberty, you ain't getting her back.
Look, man, what are we gonna do?
Let's go to the nut house. What do you say?
Are there any security guards there or something?
There's no security guards, man. The place is dead.
It looks like a dead end.
You can see a door down here. Push hard.
JT, what the hell, man? What's going on?
You can believe this, Rick.
Come on, second. We could keep her.
Is there something that you gotta see?
What did you do to her, JT? What the f did you do to her?
Look at her.
This isn't real.
She's staying here with us.
Hey, baby, you miss me?
Hey, Ricky. Everything all right?
Just asking for trouble, JT. We're all gonna get arrested or worse.
Down here, we're in control. We call the shots. Joanne Skinner? She never choose you, man. I can't see him when he's staring over Joanne!
Whatever you hear after tonight, I want you to know that I tried to stop you. Do you understand me? I'm gonna get you out of here, okay?
What were you thinking? This is the best we're ever gonna have! I am doing this for your benefit, Rick. She's all yours.
So the listener scored this first. They kicked this off with a 5 out of 10. IMDb rocked in at 5.5 and Letterboxd 2.6 out of 5. These are higher scores than I expected.
A lot higher than I expected. That surprised me that you've said they're as high as they are, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, this was a first watch for me. I had no concept of what I was walking into or anything for this. This was just I put it on.
I've seen this before, but it was like many, many years ago when I was in my teen years, first setting out on my horror journey. And it was one of those movies where I watched it and then never thought anything of it ever since. Yeah. So I was aware of it and its content, but I didn't actually sitting down and watching it again this time. I was just a bit like, oh okay. This is what it is.
It is very much if you have no idea what this is, I'm going to give you a bit of a synopsis. Two pervert teens spend their days fantasizing about being with women. They stumble across a mute, naked girl in an abandoned psychiatric hospital. Things take a turn for the worse when the boys realise that this girl is actually the undead. And that's as much as you need for now.
Yeah.
We'll give you the rest as we run through it. It's a spoiler-heavy show. If you've not seen this before, we are going to talk about every aspect of it. We also have a great spoiler warning. I'm really struggling. I'm really bunged up and just not great today. Yeah, let me play the spoiler warning.
You can read the fucking episode title and be like, I've never seen this. Don't fucking listen to it then. If y'all haven't seen it, that's not anybody's problem. Don't listen to the damn episode yet.
There we go. Where do I start? We meet JT and Ricky, two teens in high school, and immediately I hated JT and wanted to punch him in the face.
Yeah, dickhead. That is the only way I can put this guy into perspective. He is an absolute dickhead.
Yeah, they're staring at this girl and they're being like really dickheadish teens, and he's like, he does his joke about the fire truck, and he's like, what starts with F and ends in uck? And his mate's like, shut up. He's like, no, it's really funny. It's fire truck. It's like, fuck you, man.
I can't believe you're actually bashing on this joke of all the people.
Oh, the thing is though, like this whole setup, they feel so forced, like even to the point that I get the feeling that the actors are like, I don't talk like this and I don't want to talk like this.
Yeah, and I don't want to jump the gun too much, but we might as well dive into it now because it's pretty much how it is off the bat, really. These actors who are portraying these roles clearly do not enjoy being in these roles. It's awkward to watch because the writing behind them, it's almost as if me and you are now in our elderly years, you know, like we're getting on now, and it's our version of slang is now dated by about 10 to 15 years when we used to use it. So like whoever's written the script for this, written a script for these actors trying to play young, cool, hip teens with slang dialogue. However, the dialogue and the slang that they're using is so outdated.
Yeah, the slang they're using, they took like from California, man. That's how bad it is.
Yeah, I mean, these two are almost like it's Bill and Ted level kind of stupidity with the dude. It's like, dude, where's my car, back and forth between the two of them. But it's clear that the actors are like wincing as they're trying to say the words. It's almost as like, this is not how people speak. But then they've almost approached the director and writer and be like, look, guys, I really think you're out of touch with your dialogue and your writing for this movie. But they're kind of being like, no, we know what we're doing. You just do what you're told and read the script. And they're just there like...
This whole movie has the vibe that everyone went, excuse me, director, I have an issue with this scene. And the director went, shut up and sit down and do as you're told.
Yeah, that is exactly it. That is exactly how it pans out on screen. And it's very uncomfortable, to be honest with you, watching them do it, because it's not that it's so uncomfortable what they're saying. It's more you can see in their performance that they're not comfortable delivering it.
Yeah, I feel really sorry for both of these actors because like all the way through, and when you get into later scenes, you could really see in their face, they're meant to be quite menacing or mean or whatever. And you can see in their face, they're like, I want to go home and stroke my cat.
Yeah, and dealing with the subject matter they're dealing with, I can imagine that's probably the preferred choice.
Yeah. They skip school straight away and they head up to the abandoned asylum, which is something I believe teens do that.
This is actually a relatable thing. This is a thing. This was a thing near me. There was an abandoned one near me. and it was a school for younger children with learning disabilities. I wouldn't necessarily call it a mental institute or an asylum. It was just a school that
and you'd go off and bunk off school and go there for the day and break windows and
exactly. That. It closed down like 10 years ago, and the landers just sat there and had like the corrugated fence around it so you couldn't get in, and then we'd just go up there and smoke weed and basically break bottles and fluorescent light bulbs at each other and stuff.
Yeah, ours was an abandoned bus station. We used to sit on a bus and smoke weed.
Yeah, why do we always go to these places to smoke weed?
Don't know. It's not the best place to do it. While they're in there, there's a dog. I'm assuming it's a guard dog, but we don't see any patrols there. That chases them for a little bit, and this dog's a reoccurring theme throughout the movie.
It's one of the biggest mysteries of the entire movie. I love this dog, and we just get no context to it whatsoever.
No, it's just a random dog. They find a rusted up door, and they go inside, and there's no way to sugarcoat this or make it any better than it is. They find a dead girl strapped to a table wrapped in plastic. When they uncover her, she's not dead. JT takes the biggest leap in logic in the world and instantly wants to rape her.
Yeah.
Like instantly.
Fumbles her boobs a little bit, and then he's like, yeah, we have a pet. Which is immediately like, why are you going there? Why would your mind immediately go there?
He's such a bad guy. Ricky wants nothing to do with it, and Ricky leaves. Ricky goes home and meets his mum's waster boyfriend. This guy... I've been in a household where, like, my dad passed away and my mum had boyfriends. If my mum had ever brought home a guy like this, I'd be like, Mum, what are you doing? Who is this dude?
I mean, the guy himself wasn't that bad, though, was he? Like, I know he was trying to... I mean, he certainly wasn't Rob Zombie's Halloween 1 level stepdad.
No, he wasn't. He wasn't. He was somewhere in between that and what you would actually want.
Yeah, he's just a bit of a down-on-his-luck kind of bloke who's taken to drinking heavily regularly. But he's not, he seems to, because the thing is, like, he's not an arsehole to Ricky. Ricky was the one who was being an arsehole, in my opinion, in this situation. Like, he was more just like trying to give him some words of wisdom and being like, look, dude, because he'd come home because JT had punched him in the asylum because he didn't want to get involved with the whole let's rape the dead girl thing. He come home with a black eye, and he basically was trying to tell him, look, just stand up to these guys, otherwise they're always going to keep walking all over you. And then he just unleashes on him and he's like, yeah, I'm going to take advice from a douchebag like you. I'm like, man, he's trying to be supportive. What are you doing?
Yeah, he was. I wasn't a fan of this guy. Ricky goes off and he goes to another abandoned place and he's shooting a gun for no reason whatsoever, just to blow off steam. And JT turns up and JT's like, you have to come back. You have to come back right now. And Ricky's like, no, look, I'm not down for the whole, like, dead girl, let's touch her kind of thing. He's like, no, literally, you have to come back. So JT goes back with him. When he gets there, he's like, the girl's definitely dead. And I know she's dead. And then he shoots her. And then JT's like, he explains that he's killed her 3 times and she just keeps going.
Which is wild. And he says it as well, like, doesn't he say that he was having sex with her and she, like, tried to bite him?
Yeah.
So he was like, and he goes into this long descriptive thing about how he started to choke her, and then he got harder and harder and strangling harder and harder, and he even at one point had her neck break.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is just like, because obviously he's talking about this while he's committing his sexual act. I'm like, this dude needs locking up immediately.
Yeah, he's got some serious issues. The worst bit is like where he shot her, he then sticks his fingers like in the hole. He's like, look, it's like, oh, you're so gross. Just stop. They agree to keep this girl as their secret sex doll, which again is fucking gross.
Yeah. And it's like their little secret,
which lasts about 10 minutes, but we'll
the next scene.
Yeah. There's loads of filler scenes at the school. We see Ricky staring at a girl called Joanne Skinner, who was the girl we saw right at the very, very beginning. He really likes her. They used to have a thing when they were about 7. They lived next door to each other. They shared a kiss, and he's been obsessed ever since. There's some more general scenes in the school that don't really go anywhere. So, like, there's a scene where Ricky goes to the library, and he's looking at books about reincarnation, and he has a chat with his teacher. And if I'm honest, all of this could have, like the reincarnation thing could have led somewhere, but it doesn't. No. And honestly, like everything that's not in the asylum is just pure filler. It gives nothing new to the movie at all.
No, it's just basically lingering moments of Ricky stalking this young girl and watching her interact with her and her boyfriend. I mean, obviously it introduces the characters of her boyfriend and his friend, who do become quite pivotal to the role later on.
Yeah.
But for the most part, it is very much just exposition that goes nowhere.
Yeah, Ricky goes home. We get the most weird dream sequence ever where Joanne is giving Ricky a blowjob, and then it kind of flashes between Joanne doing it and the dead girl doing it and the Joanne doing it, and then Ricky wakes up, which I think I would as well. It's just weird. It's like it doesn't make any sense. Like,
No.
At this point, neither of these girls have given him a blowjob.
No. And like, I kind of get what the director was trying to achieve with this scene, but its overall execution just doesn't play out very well, in my opinion.
No, I'll be honest, none of the director's scenes in this play out very well. It's a badly directed movie.
Very, very badly directed and very poorly edited as well. Every single transition scene from scene to scene is done with a fade in, fade out technique.
Yeah.
And it is the most annoying thing in the world in movies when they do it. And I think the only time it's ever really relevant or purposeful is during a dream sequence to show the haziness of a dream sequence. But this guy does it in every single scene.
Yeah,
it's
literally.
Like, next scene. So we'll just put a little, do you know, like how you go on like a reel thing and you can put transition fades into like the next clip on a reel and it's like a blur. He's like literally done that transition from every single scene. It's the most annoying thing when you're watching it.
Yeah, it's like when you get the option on a reel to add to all. He's done that.
He's literally done that. I can find myself like rubbing my eyes countless times thinking, is it me or is it the film?
Yeah, it's not good. It's a badly directed, bad edited film. Ricky heads back up to the asylum after his creepy dream, where he finds JT and another mate, and the other mate is raping the dead girl. Now he complains to JT the fact that it was their secret, and I'm so bothered that that's what his fucking complaint is.
I think the thing is for this, and I'm probably just going to make this sound a lot better than it was actually intended to be, is that Ricky feels now that he's culpable in the situation. So for him, he's trying to contain it as much as he possibly can. He doesn't care because he hasn't, out of all of them, he hasn't interfered or touched this woman in any way. He's just aware of what's going on and occasionally keeps popping in and out.
Yeah.
And I feel like he's just trying to contain it as much as he can because no matter what happens from this point on, he's involved in some way, in some capacity.
Yeah, I kind of get where they were trying to go with it. It's just like
don't get me wrong, it doesn't showcase it very well throughout the film, but that was just what I perceived it to be.
Yeah, and we get Ricky has another little tantrum now, and he leaves again, unwilling to be part of group Rape a Zombie, and I'm with him on that. Like, you shouldn't be part of that group or anywhere near that group. He goes to see their dealer, who's a guy who runs a garage. He's like, I told you not to come here. He's like, no, I don't want weed. I just want some bulk cutters. And the bloke's like, okay. So he gives him some bulk cutters. And I instantly assumed that he plans on freeing Dead Girl. It's like, that's his goal. When he gets back to the asylum, he finds that Dead Girl has been moved and flipped over.
Oh, this was uncomfortable.
It's right.
And it's not, nothing's actually happening. It's just, you know what's happened by seeing the position she's been turned into. And you're like,
and it's like, it's really bad. And it's such a horrible movie. Little things like that, you just go, oh, why? Why are you doing this? And this film really got under my skin and really riled me. He's there and he like strokes her hand. He tells her everything is going to be okay. He cuts the chain for her arm and she grabs him like fucking you are lunch. Like the second her arm is free. He fights free, but he does get scratched, which plays in later. But he does get scratched at this point. He definitely gets scratched here. But no, it doesn't play in later because fuck all happens to Ricky.
Exactly, that's what I was saying. Nothing happens.
No.
I don't know whether there isn't much exposition in terms of the law of the girl her transition, how she's ended up here. Only the only exposition we really get regarding her situation is later on in the movie, and that's basically just added for plot purposes.
Yeah.
To keep things moving forward. It doesn't give us any idea, because like if Ricky gets scratched, common zombie law would tell you that a scratch or a bite would turn you.
Yeah.
But it implies it because it focuses upon the scratch.
But it doesn't deliver
happens.
it. No, and it does it again in a minute. So JT and his mate come in and Ricky goes and hides. JT hops straight on the bed and goes straight back to raping Dead Girl, who fights back, and she scratches JT. Now, again, nothing comes of that. We get some more fine fights in the school, more scenes in the school, and we find out the mate who was there is now offering tickets for $10 to other people.
Yes.
And Ricky like attacks him in the bathroom or like the changing room. He's like, "What the fuck are you doing?" He's like, "I'm making money, man."
No, well, what happens here is he finds out because the nerdy guy comes up to him.
Yeah.
I keep getting lost on track. So you've got JT, you've got Ricky. Who's the Jay and Silent Bob character? Jay.
Yeah, I don't know what he's called. Long-haired rapey boy.
Just call him Jay. We'll call him Jay.
Yeah,
Jay
okay.
and Silent Bob. So Jay has been telling people about it throughout school. And then this nerdy, chubby kid from school then comes up to Ricky and he's like, "Oh, have you seen Jay? I need to speak to Jay. He said he's got something to show me." And then Ricky just loses his shit and pins him up against the wall. And he's like, "God, Jay's crazy. Don't listen to him. He's fucking nuts." And then he goes outside from the locker room to go and confront Jay. And this is where the two frat boys who's going out with Ricky's infatuation is like, overhears a conversation.
Yeah.
He's like, "What the fuck's going on, boys? What do you mean you've got a dead girl?"
Yeah.
And then he beats the shit out of them both in the parking lot outside. And he's like, "Look, don't you tell whatever happens," because he'd stick him in the trunk of the car and take him. They're like, "You're going to take us to her." And Ricky says to Jay, like, "Whatever happens, do not tell him. We'll take him there. We won't take him to the actual location. Just tell him you're full of shit."
Yeah.
And then as soon as he get there, they get him out of the boot and Jay just tells them everything.
Yeah. And it's like the level of violence from these two guys is unnecessary. And while this is happening, we're jump cutting back to the asylum just to scenes of JT raping the dead girl. Like this whole 15-minute segment that we've just covered in 30 seconds only needed 30 seconds of screen time. And like the violence against the boys is massively excessive. The constant cutting back to rape scenes it's just not required. We got it from the first time you showed it. We know what's going on. We don't need this every 5 minutes. "I'm going to show you it again. I'm going to show you it one more time. Just in case you forgot, I'm going to show you it again, this time in a different position." It's like, what? Why? Why are you doing this? There's no need for this constant going back to it.
No.
I do like the fact that Ricky's main goal is to keep them all out of prison. That's the only thing he's worried about.
Yeah, he's just not getting caught. And that's kind of what I was trying to say earlier about him being implicated. And that was his only concern.
Yeah, I mean, Ricky, when he comes to, so he's knocked out when they get into the asylum. He runs his mouth and Joanne's boyfriend knocks him clean out. And when he comes to, he kind of rushes to where the dead girl is and he finds the two jock guys looking over her. And JT comes out and he is now a zombie pimp.
Yeah, he doesn't look well, but he's not like zombified or anything. He just looks like he's lost his mind from raping a dead girl for a week solid.
Yeah, and now he's pimping her out. He's like, what is he says? What is it he said? He says, you want to ride. And that's his words, not mine. He's like, you want to ride. Come on, it's free. It's here. Help yourselves, boys. It's like, this is the party. Everyone can have a go. It's like, oh, man.
Yeah, it's rank. It's rank. I mean, these guys have been taking turns for what feels like forever. And now these newcomers are coming and it's like, oh, man.
You've got it's like Joanne's
everything's just ick about the whole thing.
It is. Like Joanne's boyfriend's like, no, I'm not really down for that. Thanks. I'm going to go and fuck Joanne. Like just to wind it into Ricky, I'm just going to go fuck Joanne instead because she's very much alive. But his friend is like, no, I think it sounds good. I'm going to give it a go. And then they're egging on Joanne's boyfriend.
Yeah, this is where Ricky sort of comes into the room, isn't it? And Ricky's like, can see an opportunity here.
Yeah.
He's like, oh yeah, let her suck your dick, and like,
yeah,
I bet Joanne's never sucked your dick like that.
Yeah. Funnily enough, Zombie Girl does not suck dick.
No.
If anyone's got any confusion, if you ever come across a zombie girl and decide to do anything nasty to her, she is a zombie. Don't put anything near or in her mouth. Like, surely that's just common fucking sense.
You would think so, yeah.
Yeah, dead girl bites it. Doesn't bite it off, but
regardless of whether she's a zombie or not, if a woman's chained to a bed and you're enticed into putting your penis in her mouth, she's immediately going to bite that off.
Yeah, and again, if you ever come across that, you phone the police. You don't get involved. It's so sick. When he gets bitten, JT just like kicks them both out. And as much as I hate this guy and how disgusting this is the only clever bit of writing in the whole thing, where JT explains to them why they cannot go to the police.
Yeah.
He's like, you cannot go to the police because you're associated with it now. He's had sex with her. You've put your penis in her mouth. You are equally as guilty as us. So if you want to go and report this, you fill your boots and we'll all share cells together. We'll all be buddies in prison.
Yeah, at this point, I had to assume that she didn't fully bite his penis off, as JT's like, just stick a bandage on it and don't have sex with Joanne for a couple of weeks and you'll be fine.
Yeah, that's exactly. I think she just nipped him. Anyone biting any part of that, it's just not good, is it?
Oh, this is such a weird fucking episode of a podcast.
Yeah, it's just such a listener requests need to be banned. I think we can't do that, but like this one is making me like,
we need to regulate these requests.
Ricky goes to see Joanne and they have this like weird discussion, and he's like, "Oh, you remember that thing we had?" And she's like, "Yeah, we were 11." He's like,
completely crushes him.
Absolutely crushes him. He goes and gets some more stellar advice from his mum's boyfriend while they sit on the sofa and have a beer. Again, it's all filler. It adds nothing to the plot. The weird interactions at the school the following day also add nothing to the plot. We still have 30 minutes left at this point, and I checked my watch. I was like, how have we got 30 minutes left?
This is actually
left?
Quite a short movie as well. I think it's only clocks in at 80 minutes.
Yeah.
It feels like so much longer, and whether that's just because of how uncomfortable it is, or like you say, it's just filler after filler. It just drags, man. The pacing is completely awful.
Yeah, it really does. We get a scene with the dog. So the dog gets into where Dead Girl is, and it attacks JT. And honestly, when I knew 30 minutes was left, I was hoping for a 30-minute mauling scene of JT. That would have been the perfect end to the movie. But the dead girl sits up and rips the dog's throat out. I was like, no, you silly bitch. What did you do that for?
Yeah. And he like pets her as if they're like now one because she saved his life. I was like, oh.
Yeah. My disappointment level went through the roof when she killed the dog. I was like, I literally shouted, you stupid bitch. I know she can't hear me, one, because this movie was made in 2008. Two, she's a zombie and wouldn't understand, but I was so pissed off. I was like, why did you do that? In class, Joanne's boyfriend is not looking too hot. He's like you can hear like the stomach rumbling noises, and he runs to go to the toilet. It is gross, like blood and guts and all sorts kind of just fall out of him. And we find out that he's dying. Him shitting out his intestines was a really cool effect.
Yeah, really cool. Practical as well. Practical, which I was impressed by.
Yeah. Joanne's boyfriend returns to Dead Girl, finding her with magazine like over her face, like she's got like a cover of like Vogue over her face because JT's fed up of looking at the same thing.
Yeah, and it's more because she's now becoming like full zombie as well, so she's deteriorating a bit. The wound that he shot her in earlier on. This is a really, really minging scene between JT and Jay.
Yeah,
where they're talking about how
it's an extra hole and it's warm because it's got an infection. It's
and it's got like pus coming out of it and stuff, and it's just rank. And he sticks his finger in it, and all this green goo just oozes out. And he's like, there's like 3 bullet holes on his stomach, and he's like, "Ooh, I call this one. Don't touch this hole. This one's mine."
Yeah,
I was like, "Oh."
Honestly, it's so gross, so gross. But this is where JT realizes that he can make another dead girl.
Yes.
Because he's like, oh, well, you've turned. So in theory, if I bring another hot girl in here, get dead girl to bite her, I then have a new dead girl and I can replace this one because this one's getting a bit manky now.
Past its sell-by date.
Yeah, so we need a new one. Ricky's having a bit of a meltdown and we see him eye up a machete. But again, nothing comes of that straight away. JT and the other guy picking up their next dead girl is the fucking funniest scene and honestly the crowning moment of this movie.
I was going to say, if you didn't, I was like, this is the best moment in the entire film. This whole 5-minute segment of them trying to abduct this woman at a petrol station is just brilliant.
Absolutely amazing. So there's a girl, she's in hot pants, she's looks pretty good, and they're like, that's the one. And they lure her to the back of their car because they're selling, they're saying they're selling weed. This girl is the hardest fucker on the planet and would put all final girls to shame. They hit her on the head with a crowbar and she turns around like the Terminator, punches out the mate and JT, then robs them, calling them bitches before getting in her car and driving away. Honestly, it's fucking fabulous.
And the thing is as well, when they do it, he hits her with the crowbar and she turns around and you get that scene almost reminiscent of Maniac where like the blood just trickles down her forehead. And I just expected her to like collapse and fall back into the car.
Yeah, so
and she just goes Rocky Balboa and knocks a shit out of both of them and just starts lacing into one of them on the forecourt of the thingy.
Yeah, and like,
so good.
As she walks across, she's wearing high heels. As she walks across, she like boots one of them in the stomach. She's like, fucking bitches. I was like, yes, good for you.
I love it when they both get back in the car and just start laughing at each other like, what the fuck's just happened?
Yeah, and it's literally at this point where you get Joanne pulls up in her car and she goes off at JT going, what have you done to her boyfriend? And JT went, look, I can't explain it to you. So you need to come with me and I'll show you. And instantly I went, oh, I know where this is going.
I'll be honest with you. I knew where this was going from probably 20 minutes in.
So did I.
I found it to be very predictable.
Yeah, I did early on. I thought this is where it was going to end up. But like the second she pulled up, I was like, oh, okay, yeah, we are going to go there. Ricky is all Jason Voorhees up, walking around the asylum with a massive machete. And he's about to sever the head of dead girl. And this is when he finds Joanne. Joanne's tied up and JT pops out. JT shares his entire plan with Ricky and the other mate. And it just doesn't make any sense. It's like, so what we're going to do is we're going to make another dead girl out of the girl you really like. And I tell you what, you can have her and we'll go get another one. We'll all have our own. So you can have the thing you've never been able to have. I was like, oh, it's just sick. It's just not right. The other guy tries to touch Joanne and Ricky loses his shit and cuts his fucking hand off with a machete.
With a machete, just chop. Clean up. And I didn't see this coming, to be honest with you. This genuinely took me by surprise. I was like, holy fuck, he's just cut his arm off.
Yeah, he's just literally just lopped his arm off. The whole back and forth, this whole scene goes on for so long.
Yeah, it does. I got quite bored by it within a couple of minutes, to be honest with you. There was a lot that could be condensed here. Like the point it was trying to achieve came across quite early, and then everything else just felt drawn out afterwards.
Yeah, so like the bloke's dying on the floor. And for 15 minutes, we watch JT and Ricky argue about how this is a good idea or a bad idea.
Yeah. And then is it Joanne realizes that it's some creepy zombie girl behind her?
Yeah.
I can't remember how they escape here. This all just kind of comes a bit of a blur.
Joanne's hands are tied behind her back by the dead girl's hand, and she unties the dead girl. She then takes out the mate. How does she take out the mate? She hits him with something.
Bites his neck off or something, doesn't she?
Oh, yeah, she does. The zombie bites the neck. Joanne and Ricky run, and JT goes in pursuit, and he finds them using the dead girl like a dog. He's got her on a leash, using her like a sniffer dog.
Yeah.
The dead girl eats JT's face off is the crowning moment.
Yeah, this was where applause was welcomed.
Yeah, he's got her on the leash, and she kind of just has this moment where she turns around like, why the fuck am I just like going where you want, and just tears his face off. She charges him and runs straight. So she's like got a face off, like face to face with Ricky, and she runs at Ricky and then runs straight past him and escapes. And
Didn't she like knock him over and knock him out?
Yeah, but
I think he gets unconscious at this point, and then she pursues Joanna.
Yeah, but they're implying that she didn't do anything to Ricky because Ricky didn't do anything to her.
Ah, right, okay, yeah.
And
I didn't get that message from it because it was quite sloppy. I just thought she was charging for escape and like knocked the door into him, and he fell and hit his head.
Yeah, that's kind of what happened. But they have this moment where they stare at each other first, and it's kind of like Ricky sort of looking at her going, "I didn't do anything." She's like, "I know you didn't," and then she charges him. But it's really badly translated. I got it, but it was like, it's sloppy.
He's still guilty by association in my eyes.
100%. We find Joanne's been bitten. JT isn't dead. We get some more clunky dialogue and some really bad fake crying. The crying from JT is like, shut up. Ricky starts to pull Joanne out of the building as JT dies. And we fade to black as Joanne dies as well. And I was like, oh, that's a bit dark. We see Ricky at school, and I'm assuming some time's passed. They don't tell us how long. He's having a great day. He finishes school. He waves goodbye to all his friends. We see him walk through the town, and they're like, is he going home? No, he's going to the asylum where, you guessed it, Joanne is the dead girl, and he's redressed her. Movie ends.
Redressed her, got nice pretty fairy lights in the room. It's all very sweet. But it's not. Not at all.
It's really not. It's vile. It's disgusting. Our roundups are going to say lots of nasty things, I'm assuming. Yeah. I wonder what everyone else thought of this.
This will be interesting because I'm surprised at how high the scores were for it.
Zoinks! 3-word reviews, man!
So we got a few. We didn't get lots because not many people have seen this, thankfully. On Instagram, we got one enthusiastic horror fan official, Burned Into Brain, and they're a movie reviewer. This girl loves horror. It's almost like she listens to the show and listens to things you say. A bit rapey.
A bit rapey. How have we got through this full episode with me not saying a bit rapey?
Because it's a lot rapey.
Oh, yeah, because it's a lot rapey. That's
yeah.
Right.
Projectile Vomit went too far, and they're a reviewer. Adrel 245, Pure Fantasy Crap, and they're a horror enthusiast. And then over on Threads, Nate Mayer, bit much really, and they're a horror account. And I agree with all of your reviews on this, which I don't always do. Let's do some facts. When this movie was criticised for being misogynistic, the director responded with his sequel idea.
Oh, so God.
His sequel idea to balance this out and make everyone happy was to remake the movie exactly as is, but have a dead boy and teen girls using and abusing the boy.
How does that work? I can't imagine. Do zombies get erections?
But even if they did, like, that whole movie concept doesn't work because women generally have more compassion and are less animalistic than teenage boys.
Oh, well, let's not be sexist here on this show. You know, everyone's entitled to their own flavours, man.
I'm pretty sure most of our female listeners will agree with me. If you would be animalistic and take on a tied up male zombie, let us know. Send us a message.
Hey, I've had my experience with stalkers. I can imagine somebody would have liked to have put me in this situation.
This is true. That would have made a better movie than this. Funnily enough, that movie was never greenlit. He started a GoFundMe, which didn't make enough to probably buy him lunch, let alone make this movie. The movie stars Candy Sokola, who most people will know as Candy's King. She's done loads of productions like The Vampire Diaries and The Originals, which she's best known for. She played Joanne. She is a phenomenal actress. In this, it's not showcased, but she is exceptional, and she's actually my pick to play Freddy Krueger in a new movie.
Oh, interesting. So you want to go down the female Freddy route?
No, I want to go down the demon spirit Freddy, where he can possess different people, and this be the body he chooses. I want her to be a teacher. I want her to already be a bad person, and he possess that bad soul, and they coexist.
Oh, right, interesting.
That's where I'd like it to go, and then you can kill her off, and Freddy can jump into someone else.
Yeah, and have Robert Englund voice over quite a lot of this. Is that kind of the direction you want to go
so Robert Englund can voice probably the first movie, and it's only voiceover work. And then after that, you can pick whatever character is going to be your final form of Freddy and let that voice take over.
Yeah. Or just keep bringing Robert Englund back as a voiceover for...
Yeah. Well,
you could do that up until the next 20 years, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, and I'm not being funny. When he does sadly pass away, they can do that with AI. So it's quite easy to keep that voice going.
Yeah, we don't
forever.
encourage AI on this show, though.
Your friend Gladys. When they enter the asylum, I don't know if you spotted this. This is one I spotted and it pissed me off. So when they enter the asylum, it says hospital employees only, but they spell employees wrong.
Oh, no, I'm slightly dyslexic, so I didn't pick up on that.
So instead of employees, where it's got 2 E's, it has 1 E, which is fine. Yeah, shit happens. They made a mistake. When they go back to the asylum later, it's been corrected. It's a different sign where they've spelt it right. So they spotted it, but left it
in. That's excellent.
There is a director's cut version of this movie.
Which one did we watch?
The normal one.
So for anybody who's listening now who hasn't seen this movie yet and you were struggling to get hold of it, you can find this for free currently on YouTube with Spanish subtitles. That's where I watched it. That's where Scott watched it.
Yeah.
So go check it out if you haven't watched it already, but you wanted to listen to the episode regardless.
Yeah. There's a 97-minute cut of this. The 11 minutes add nothing to plot, add nothing to story. They are the extended rape scenes that were cut out.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Where can we get hold of this copy? Because I'm desperate to watch it.
Exactly that. And that is about all we have for facts on this, because it's a fairly low budget production. And yeah, I don't really talk about it anymore. What should we do now?
Let's play a little game.
Yeah,
answer right, you live. Answer wrong, you die.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a new little twist. I like that.
Did you like that? I come up with a new game specially inspired by this episode, which is Rename That Shit. So this movie's called Dead Girl, and it is shit. So we're going to give it names that are more appropriate for this movie. And this is a spin on a feature that Horror Movie do called Taglines, but I'm not going to steal their feature because it's awesome. So we're just going to rename the movie. What have you got for renaming this?
I will go with my first one, and this is Bill and Ted's Necrophilia Adventure.
That's fabulous. I've gone simply with misogyny.
Oh, nice. My second one is Don't Stick Your Thing in That Hole.
Yeah.
Yeah, and if you've seen this film, you know which hole I'm referring to. Not that you want to stick it in any of these holes, but that one in particular.
No, and it's such a weird... It's a rotting corpse.
Yeah.
Just because it moves. No, you just can't...
I don't understand how anybody's mind would come to the conclusion of, I'm going to have sex with a bullet-hole wound.
No. I don't get it. I don't. We've all taken some weird steps in our sex lives, and we've tried some things that maybe we may never try again. But that is really fucking out there. My next one I've gone with Zomporn.
Zomporn, nice.
Yeah,
it is pretty much zombie porn, to be honest with you.
It's exactly what it is. A couple of edits, and this is on Pornhub.
Yeah. I bet there is probably a compiled version on Pornhub for you to watch, which is wrong. The internet's a weird place, man.
It's a weird place full of lots of weird people.
My final one, which isn't going to have a lot of context, I haven't touched on it on our walkthrough, but I will be touching upon it on my roundup, is Return of the Sex Zombie Drenched in Beige. Now, this movie is the most beige thing you will ever watch in terms of colour palette. It is beige throughout from start to finish. Everything is just browns and creams, and there is no colour to this film whatsoever.
No, literally none at all. The only bit of colour you get is where JT puts red lipstick on the dead girl.
And you notice it because it's the only bit of colour in this movie. He has saturated this film to the point of just pure beige, and it is weird.
Yeah, so like, you know how you get like that green tinge to the Matrix? It's that, but beige.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah,
all
it's
the
like
way through.
It's like you brushed it with a chicken nugget.
The McZombie, that's a better one.
The McZombie, we come up with another one. My final one, and I think is the most accurate, I'm keeping the two words like dead girl, and I'm just going with rapey rubbish.
Nice.
I'm kicking it off this week. This movie is bad. Like, it's bad, badly made, badly directed, badly produced. The subject matter is bad. It's a bad message to deliver. It's incredibly misogynistic. It's just bad across the board. This would have worked as a horror short, like 15 minutes, 20-minute horror movie short as part of an anthology. This would have been like oh, fuck, that's really disturbing. And it would have worked. But they dragged it out so much that it becomes something else where it's like, I don't want to watch this. I'm not a fan of movies that deal with rape and sexual assault because it's something that, without a decent context to it or a motivation to make that happen, it doesn't make any sense in a horror movie. It's something that I don't feel should be there. It's one of the worst things in the world and incredibly uncomfortable to watch. It had no real horror elements. There was a couple of badly executed jump scares, but beyond that, there was nothing, just the repulsive factor of what was happening. Casting's okay. JT and Ricky, I thought they were okay. You can feel how uncomfortable they were as actors, which we mentioned. They are so, I don't want to be here. I don't like this, but I'm new to acting and I know I need to get through this to get other roles. Candice King as Joanne, she done okay. Again, not her best outing. Super predictable, zero payoff as an audience member. There's no redeeming character arcs from any character whatsoever. Not even Ricky. There's no redeeming character arc because he ends up with a dead girl. There's no payoff in this. It's a grim and hopeless movie from start to finish. Also, the soundtrack is fucking dire.
Oh, I disagree with you massively on that side of things. I love the soundtrack and score to this movie.
Okay, well, I didn't.
It's not my turn. Go on. Sorry.
I didn't hate this movie. But I will never ever watch it again. Yeah, you could have easily summed this up in 4 sentences. It was just gratuitous, unnecessary exploitation is what it was.
Yep.
Exploitation scenes filled with loads of filler scenes. It gets a 2 out of 10 from me, way below average 2000s horror movie.
Yep, right, fairly solid roundup. I don't think ours are going to be too dissimilar, really, in tone and direction. For me personally, again, we've touched on, I think that the actors involved in this production are very capable. I've seen the vast majority of these actors in other roles since this film's come out, and they're all very, very capable, very capable. But again, due to the writing and the directional cues that they've had throughout this film, you can tell that this was not something that they were enjoying being a part of.
No.
While I'm on it, the direction and the cinematography is pretty shocking, really.
It's dismal.
It's abysmal. There's no redeeming qualities for anything that was done here. And the one thing that annoyed me the most about this movie is that had it not been for the subject matter that it was focusing upon, this is an instantly forgettable film. This has only got a reputation because it's gratuitous.
Yeah.
And that is not something that you should wear as a badge of honor, in my opinion, in horror movies.
No.
I don't like sexual assault similar to you. It's one thing that I really detest in horror movies. I really don't find there to be a place for it unless it is just and your characters have some sort of redeeming arc by the end of the story. This doesn't provide us with any of that. It's just there for the sake of it.
An example where it would work would be I Spit on Your Grave. That it works in that movie because the entire movie is built around the revenge arc for what
you endure that horrible moment at the beginning in order to pursue with the purpose of the movie.
Yeah.
This, you just endure it throughout with no redeeming qualities and no redemption for anybody involved. It's just violent, gratuitous, vulgar situations, one after the other. And it's really uncomfortable to sit through. And by the time you get to the end of it, with situations like this in horror movies, you usually get that sigh of, oh, well, thank God that they had that moment where they freed themselves and got revenge for the sins that were cast upon them. You don't get any of that here. You just go away from it feeling dirty for even watching it.
Yeah.
again, you kind of feel guilty by association for participating in it. And it's not a nice experience to endure when you're watching it. I touched upon it when we did our play game a moment ago. This is a very beige movie. Everything from start to finish is just one monotone colour, and it's not very pleasant to sit and watch. I know you digged on the score a little bit, but I found that to be one of the most redeeming qualities of this movie. There's quite a lot of artists and songs that are featured throughout, which are actually really, really good. So the musical cues and stuff I did genuinely like. But as a whole, it's just a vile movie. I don't think there's any place for this within horror or within the horror community. I mean, and I don't want to out anybody who does like this movie and does like movies like this. Like, each to their own. I think horror is very subjective. If you are into these kind of things, and you do you. Do you know what I mean? Like, you enjoy it for what it is, and you take away from it what you do. But for me, there was just nothing redeeming to walk away from this movie. For me, I just think it was just vile for the sake of being vile, and that's not what warrants any credit in my eyes. So for me, it's a 1 out of 5, and that's purely just because I felt like the actors were of a substantial level. I liked the soundtrack, and there was a few moments of practical effects sprinkled in throughout that I kind of enjoyed.
Yeah,
but it's not enough to endure the 80-minute runtime that this has. I just think, if you haven't seen it, do yourself a favor and don't bother. Just listen to this episode instead.
Yeah, I completely agree. Next week, we have an episode and a half for you, and that is an absolute promise. I'm going to stop telling you what movie comes next on this episode, so you're going to have to tune in next week to find out. But I am still going to do the movie quote, so you may be able to guess what comes next week, depending on what your movie knowledge is like. You all made me and Mark super happy when you voted this in. Me and Mark were like messaging like, this is the best thing in the world. This is going to be the biggest episode since Halloween 4, since Buffy the Vampire Slayer. We were really thrilled. So thank you so much for what you've given us next week.
No pressure.
But until then, clever girl.
Nice. And by the way, you have the perfect opportunity for ultimate dad joke opening next week. And if you don't take it, I'm going to ban dad jokes from the opening of every episode forward.
Okay, my joke for next week is arguably the best joke I've ever written. I took a week to write this joke.
Oh, so you've written it yourself, so you've already failed. That's interesting.
Damn it. Right, we'll see you all next week.
Yes, guys, see you next week.
And, before I forget,
I'll kill you if this is a joke.
You want to die tonight?
The You Run Podcast.
The You Run Podcast.
The You Run Podcast. The You Run Podcast.
Why isn't it possible?
I can't say nothing. Or Candyman, get me.
You choose the movies.
I had a hard-on this morning when I woke up, Tina. Had your name written all over it.
You score them.
Nice fucking model!
You review them.
For that you get the head, the tail, the whole damn thing.
Why not, you stupid bastard?
My name is very fucking confused. What's your name?
Captain Howdy.
Don't want to go fooling around other folks' property.
Goddamn soul. Just a glass of beer.
Because after all, this is not our show. This is your show.